Great to be joined here on Flow FM by the National Party candidate for the seat of Murray in southwestern New South Wales, Peta Betts. Peter, thanks for joining us today on Flow.
Thank you for having me.
Look, Peter, we are grateful to be joined by you. You are also the Mayor of Deniliquin, the Mayor of Edward River Council, but Deniliquin's the centre of all things Edward River. Is that fair to say?
That's very fair to say, yes.
And Deniliquin, let me just check in first of all, just how is the town and community in the broader region coping after recent flooding activity? You would have been right in amongst all of those challenges that were faced there.
Yeah, we were in amongst all the challenges, but we've fared very well. And the community's doing a great job in recovery and getting things up and going again. So it's a really resilient community and one I'm proud to be a part of.
Now, it just seems to me, just looking at the polling booth results from a previous election and the by-election before that, the National Party's got a bit of ground to make up in Deniliquin. Has been a strong one for Helen Dalton, the incumbent, but previously she ran for the Shooters, Fishers and Farmers. Now she's an independent. Do you think that's going to help the party's vote running with the mayor from Deniliquin there?
Absolutely. Who doesn't love the mayor of Edward River Council, hey? So I think the difference, in all seriousness, is that I'm on the ground. I'm doing this stuff on a day-to-day basis with not just my very own town, but those communities around me as well. So, and reaching out constantly with other councils and mayors and things. So it puts me in a really good position with knowing what are the immediate issues in our region.
And so what are some of those issues you're picking up? You've had some high-profile visits by some of particularly National Party colleagues that are in the Cabinet. Roads, I gather, have been one of the major things that need a lot of work, especially after recent flooding. Roads
is absolutely huge, but, let's be honest, roads is huge across the whole state. This has been a flood event that has, impacted everywhere, north, south, east, west, but it's the same in a lot of communities. We all want good health services. We all want our kids to have the best education, and how do we get people to see how wonderful it is to live, work, and play in the country region? So employment, housing. There's a bundle of things that we can discuss.
Now, it might seem odd to be talking about this given the flooding we've recently had, but our coverage of Murray over the years, and we've got a new broadcast point over into Wentworth, has certainly been about the future of the River Murray itself and water policy. Certainly there's been some challenges for the state government meeting water recovery targets. Again, it seems bizarre to be talking about recovering water with the amount we've seen going through and out to the ocean. What's your position on just what should happen with the Murray-Darling Basin plan, with it coming to a pointy end next year?
Well, at this point in time, I'm obviously still getting my head around, and I'm not going to lie about that, still getting my head around a lot of things and how it's going to benefit the wider area. So at this point in time, I'm not going to offer up an opinion as such just yet until I really want to be across this and know that I know exactly what are the impacts, the benefits and otherwise for everybody.
Sure, well, no worries. We've got a couple of months until the state election. But when it comes to maybe going back into your sort of role as mayor, and you'd know well the impacts in your local community when it comes to, I guess, getting doctors, you mentioned health, but also just getting professional staff into any form of labour, even labour to work on the farm. What are some policies or initiatives you're promoting to help fill those labour shortages in your area?
Well, we work closely with our communities and to see what's out there, what's available, who needs what we can do to entice the people to come and work in our regions. And it's the old, you want your kids, and I've got 2 kids of my own. You want those kids to be able to stay in these areas and grow up here, go to school here, become professionals here, or use whatever skills they've got here in the community. So to attract the wider base, once again, it's a nationwide issue, and all we can do is try and promote, what we have here, the good living and what's on offer.
I notice in some ways maybe there's a bit of help being given, I guess, for your campaign by Clubs New South Wales. I noticed some clubs running some posters inside critical of Helen Dalton supporting the government's position on poker machines. Just where is the National Party at on what the Liberal Party is proposing for post-election on pokies in local communities in the electorate of Murray?
Once again, I think the Nationals are doing what the Nationals do well, and that's having that conversation with the people themselves. That includes the clubs and working out what's going to be the best way forward, how we can make this work. And let's be honest, what works in the city doesn't always work out in the regional, rural area. So it's bringing all those people together and having a conversation and saying what's involved here, what's at stake here. How can we work together to make this work?
Yeah, when you're talking there about asking the questions, I get the sense that from the broader National Party in New South Wales, there's a tapping of the brakes, if I can put it that way, on this push by the Liberal Party to have a cashless gaming card and maybe not rolling that out into the regional areas as fast in the metro. Is that basically where you're at?
I'm not going to comment on that. I'm not sure that that's exactly where that's going, so I'll decline to comment. Thanks.
No problem. Look, just lastly, in terms of infrastructure, you talked about roads earlier. What do you see as those major needs to be rolled out in the region? We've certainly got cost of living pressures when it comes to electricity, for instance. What do you think is important for just that broader Murray electorate about having not only usable roads but affordable electricity?
Certainly affordable electricity. The cost of living is rather high, and I guess a lot of the areas of Murray rely a lot on tourism as well. So it's rebuilding our whole state and getting it to a point where everybody can pass from one electorate into another, and it all goes around in. The money moves around, the people move around, and it benefits absolutely everybody.
Well, Peta Betts, we look forward to talking with you more before the election day in March. Thanks so much for joining us today. That's Peta Betts, the Nationals candidate for Murray.
Thank you for your time.